a comment that was made on Facebook the other day about being a submissive woman. They were saying that a submissive woman controls her man, and I agree with that. I think until we begin to talk in honesty and transparency and stop pandering to both sides, especially to the sisters, because there is so much entitlement, and because men have been quiet for so long, and it's been the men that has been quiet were the type of men that y'all really need to be listening to. The men that doing the most talking ain't the ones, they don't have nothing to say anyway.
What's good? It's your boy Quay Price, man, holding it down for Kandid Konvos. Definitely check us out every Wednesday night, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. People today, they lazy. Ain't nobody trying to put in no work. If stuff start getting a little rough in the relationship or in the marriage, ain't nobody trying to fix nothing. Like, I mean, that's how people's mindsets are today. Yeah, but that's how I know that folks don't truly understand what marriage was about, because they tap out way too easy. Yeah, you see people fight harder for a job, like they can't go get another one of them in 2 weeks. Yeah, she's talking about these guys coming to these foreign countries and sourcing out these foreign women because they possess these character traits. Yep, they're more cooperative when it comes to a man, or they're more cooperative when it comes to a marriage and a relationship. They're more, nurturing forward when it comes to a relationship. They're more I don't even want to use the word soft, but I'll use the word soft. They're softer when it comes to, these relationships and interactions with men and so forth. And like I said, we definitely got to be honest. We see a difference, right? We see a difference. And I think, Chloe and Tay made some good points earlier. A lot of this stuff is based around money over here in the West. What's good? Welcome back to Kandid Konvos. I'm your host, Quay Price. We got Coco on deck. Say what's up to the people, Coco.
Hey, everybody. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Yeah, no, shout out to y'all tonight. We got Vince on the panel. What's going on, Vince? You good, man?
Hey, how y'all doing this evening?
Good, good. How you doing, man?
Good.
All right, cool. We just getting started, man. Like I said, shout out to everybody joining us tonight. Once again, we appreciate y'all rocking with us. Do me a favor, hit that like button. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Also, hit that share button. Like I said, we've had a couple folks who stopped by the platform, they came across us via share or somebody talking about the platform. So, yeah, keep that up, y'all. We appreciate that support. Hit that share button. Hit that like button. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe. I said we want all the subscribers we can get. We need all the support we can get. So, man, shout out to y'all once again. Let me see you checking in early, and we get right back on into this. Shout out to my guy Donovan. He said, "What up? What's happening? What's going on, Donovan? Appreciate you joining us tonight, brother. Appreciate you." Let's see, Eva Wright in the building. She said, "Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to you, Eva Wright. Appreciate you hopping on with us tonight as well." Let's see, Eva Wright said, "Giving Christmas vibes, Quay." Well, we got, folks got to get in the, got to get into the vibe. Oh no, I appreciate that. Let's see, Kenyatta said, "Happy Wednesday." What's going on, Kenyatta? We appreciate you hopping on with us tonight. As always, holding us down every Wednesday night. All right, let me thought I heard something. That was JR hopping up. Let me get this right. All right, cool. All right, let me do this real quick while I'm thinking about it. So here's a link to join us on the panel. You can drop this in your Google Chrome, your Microsoft Edge. Coming through an Apple device, you got to use Safari. But yeah, join us on the panel. You know what I'm saying? Throw your camera on. Join us up here on the screen if you ain't scared. If you are, you can cut your camera off. Yeah, join us on the panel. Let's have this conversation. In addition to the video feed, this is also in the chat feeds. So you can catch it at the Kandid Konvos page on YouTube or Facebook. Or you can shoot us a message. We'll get it to you that way as well. But I'll leave this up here on the screen a little bit as we get into the conversation. Let's see. Tiffany Rowe in the building. She said, "Happy Wednesday." What's going on, Tiffany? Appreciate you jumping on from YouTube tonight. Appreciate that. All right, cool. I think that's everything. Let me check in. Let me see what JR doing now. JR, you down there, man?
Hello, everyone. How's everybody doing?
Doing well. How you doing, man?
No, not too bad. Just, wet weather every day.
Wet weather, man. You know what, man? As many times we done talked, man, I ain't never heard you excited about the weather, man.
Shit, come on now. I live in England, man.
No, I understand. I understand. I had to check with you. It's cold and getting nasty up here as well, man. So, yeah, we're not too far behind you, man.
Yeah, and I can imagine that. Obviously, your one's worse, right? Because obviously we don't really have the hottest weather. So we don't really have the worst winter. But obviously your winter's worse than ours. Yeah. But obviously you got good sun. You know them ones. So
for sure. For sure. Yeah, no, it get a little ugly up there. For sure. Yeah. All right, cool. I just want to check in real quick. Let me we'll get back on into this. Let's see. Eva Wright said, "What happened to Vince's screen?" What you mean, Eva Wright? You talking about the aspect ratio?
No.
She might be talking about the aspect ratio. Maybe that's what she's talking about. That might be what she's talking about. Let's see. Shout out to my guy Joe in the building. He said it's 30 degrees. Yeah, for sure. No, it's cold up here too, man. It ain't no better. All right. So we're gonna go and get on into this one. It's gonna be interesting tonight. I'm gonna drop this link down for a minute. So we dropped this topic, man, and the videos came in. Yeah, there's more videos out here about this than I realized. The videos came in. So we're going to go get on into this conversation. Topic for the night: women love conditionally, men love unconditionally. Y'all surprised me with this one, man. Topic for tonight: women love conditionally, men love unconditionally. Okay. So yeah, we picked out a couple. Let's say it was a plethora, but we'll start with number one.
A relationship for love. If he in a real, what is he in a relationship for?
You tell us that. That's a good question. What do you think men is in relationship?
Love.
Y'all said no.
What else?
No.
What am I getting besides somebody saying they love me?
So you think men?
What am I here for if all I'm getting is what you're saying you're giving me?
Which is the love.
What am I getting? So what am I here for? You name it.
It gotta be love because there's nothing else that's coming.
Thank you.
I don't believe that though.
That's the fucked up part about it.
I don't believe that.
That's the fucked up part about it. What the fuck else am I getting?
That's a fact, but I don't believe that. But that is a fact.
That's a part about being delusional as a woman.
Yeah, you're right. Because you're not really getting nothing else. And if a man is really there, it's gotta be because he loves you.
Thank you.
Because he don't gotta be there.
That's why I say men love unconditionally, women love conditionally.
That's a fact.
That's the truth. Like at the end of the day, I ain't getting shit else.
Damn. Do you feel like that's what it is for men in general?
But if a man dealing with a woman that He feel like, babe, you ain't gotta do nothing. I deal with you because I love you. Nothing else. What else? Why am I doing it? Why? You're just not lucky, bitch.
Right.
I love you.
Right. So it's come down to love them.
What else?
I almost feel like I need to loop that back. I might have to. Wait. Yeah, I might have to loop that. Hold on. Y'all gotta hold on a minute. I gotta loop that back.
And a man is in a relationship for love. If he in a real, what is he in a relationship for?
You tell us that. That's a good question. What do you think men is in
Love.
Y'all said no.
What
Hell
else?
no.
What am I getting besides somebody saying they love me?
So you think men
What am I here for if all I'm getting is what you're saying you're giving me?
Which is the love.
What am I getting? So what am I here for? You name it.
It gotta be love because there's nothing else that's coming.
Thank you.
I don't believe that though.
That's the fucked up part about it.
I don't believe that.
That's the fucked up part about it. What the fuck else am I getting?
That's a fact, but I don't believe that. But that is a fact.
That's the part about being delusional as a woman.
Yeah, you're right. Because you're not really getting nothing else. And if a man is really there, it's gotta be because he love you.
Thank you.
Because he don't gotta be there.
That's why I say men love unconditionally, women love conditionally.
That's a fact.
That's the truth. Like at the end of the day, I ain't getting shit else.
Damn. Do you feel like that's what it is for men in general?
But if a man dealing with a woman that he feel like, babe, you ain't gotta do nothing. I deal with you because I love you. Nothing else. What else? Why am I doing it? Why? You're just not lucky, bitch.
Right.
I love you.
Right. So it's come down to love them.
What else?
Okay. Well, that's video number 1. I said, drop a comment. Let me know what you think about what the gentleman said. I ran it back twice. Just to make sure everybody got the context. All right, well, drop a comment. Let me know what you say. So let me come on to the panel. Coco, Vince, JR. So what you think about what was just said? And shout out to I think her name is Chevy Chase. I think that's how you say that. Yeah, Chevy Caprice, my bad. Mm-hmm. Yeah, shout out to her. I said I recognize her on the left side. I got to figure out what the gentleman's name is. But yeah, shout out to her. Shout out to Chevy. All right. So yeah, coming back to the panel. Yeah, what y'all think? Get it off your chest. Say what you say.
So the name of that show is Perspectives with Bank. That's what it's called. Right. But yeah, so I mean, listen. That it's hard to I don't know, man. It's hard to dispute it, if I'm being honest. It's hard to dispute that because the truth of the matter is, I know as women, I'm about to go there, y'all. And I know the ladies in the comments, can provide their perspectives and back me up, or correct me if I'm wrong, but I know as women, we like to think, right, that what we're bringing to the scenario is invaluable, right? Like we're irreplaceable, right? And I think that for that particular man, that is true. To that man, he can and will feel like we're irreplaceable to him, right? But the truth of the matter is, the things that he can get from you as a woman, he can get from any woman. So why is he with you? It's got to be because he loves you, right? Because he can get a baby from any woman. You know what I'm saying? He can get any woman that likes to cook and clean, can cook and clean his house, cook and clean for him and cook for him, okay? And keep his house. So if he's with you in particular, instead of everyone else, this is why he said you're not lucky. It's because there's something about you. He loves you. It's something about you, right? So then we have to agree logically that it's the love that is keeping him there. If he's not relying on you and depending on you for life and survival because you're his meal ticket, then why is he there? It's got to be because he loves you. And I know that's a hard pill for us to swallow as women because we have always been taught and conditioned to believe. Here we go with that conversation about who's the prize, right? Because we've been taught and conditioned to believe automatically our value is innate. And our value is that a man has to have you. Now, don't get me wrong, it depends on what that man wants out of his life. If he wants a legacy, if he wants to build a life, then yeah, he does. He needs a woman. But if he is a man who that's just not necessarily, that's not what he wants, then the truth of the matter is he can find somebody to warm his bed. He don't have to marry her nor be in a long-term relationship for that. So we have to be real and we have to be honest. But being real and being honest, ladies, is what's going to allow us to be what? Humble. Be grateful. Right? When we lose, when we step into the delusion, we lose humility. We start thinking that, you know what I'm saying? You know, it is what it's not actually. And then we think more and value ourselves higher than we should. Now, does that mean you don't have value? Absolutely not. Does that mean that a man is not going to find you absolutely irreplaceable? Absolutely. But why would he think that? Because he loves you. That's why. Not because what you're giving him is any more special than what somebody else is giving him. So I think as women, we have to be realistic, right? Now, we can flip this over and talk about what men do for women and all that. But right now, we're going to stick to the topic. And the topic is, do women love conditionally, whereas men love unconditionally? And I mean, it's hard to dispute that what he is saying is true. So if somebody else got another perspective, I'm all ears.
Okay. Well, it's wide open right now. JR, Vince, I want to get anything off your chest. It's up to y'all. Are y'all good right now? Let me know. Vince, JR, y'all good?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, boy, what Miss Chloe said, yeah, it was a lot, man. It didn't really, paint the ladies in a good picture type of ish, obviously from a man's point of view. Does that make sense? And obviously, it just kind of took it to the extreme of like, whoa, did we love them, but did they really actually love us as men? You know? But obviously, maybe it's not even that, but we can get into that obviously as the conversation moves on.
So I appreciate that. Vince, you want to say anything? You good, man?
I think that for the woman's perspective, you guys have value from birth. We have to earn our value, and I think that's the big difference. There are more requirements for a man to receive love, and we as men receive love differently. I think a lot of our love have to do with respect and appreciation. I think the woman's love is more emotional, more of a feeling. Ours is more of an action. And women usually say that they have a lot of requirements on men. Men usually love a woman for who she is. Period. She don't have to do much. She just have to be who she is. A man has to provide. A man has to protect. A man has to show leadership. He has to do this. It's not just because of who he is. We have to prove our value.
Okay. No, I appreciate that right there. Joe, I saw you hop on, man. You want to say anything? You good right now?
Um, I thought it was crazy how shocked she was about the simplicity of what love is and how we express it. You would think it's the other way around because women are supposed to be like the lovey-dovey types. But the reason why I think it shocked her and so many women is because I think women are just maybe they're smarter and um, more like tacticians in the way they go about things. It's kind of like if I'm giving you this, I expect this. I think more men are much more forgiving than that. until they learn to be otherwise. They're forced to be in some cases because of women like her who can't believe that you could just love me for who I am. It's because she can't love a man for who he just is. He has to provide, protect, do all these other different things. And although yes, like Chloe said, we want, some of us we want legacies, we want to bear children, we want a house, we want a home. Um, but that's like in addition to. That's not like I need you to give me that in order to have that. There are some men who will get with a woman even if she's barren, even if she can't have children, or any other circumstance. She can be in the whip, but is it like that more often if it's the other way around? We see examples of it, but it's probably not as often as if the man is the one that's doing so unconditionally. So um, I just thought that was wild to see, and we have to, as men, unfortunately, we have to kind of hold back sometimes because a woman can use that to manipulate us, to knowing that, oh, he loves me, but I know I don't love him. Well, let me get as much as I can out of this man. Men get taken through the ringers, and then they come out, and then that's how you get the red pill. That's how you get the manosphere. That's how you get all these different factions of men standing up, I guess, and choosing not to love anymore because they've been burned so many times in their past by women who just cannot possibly believe, I don't love you that way. Why would you love me that way? I can't fathom it. But to us, it's like, is that not how you think? Oh, wow. So I got to move this way then. And that actually makes us kind of sad initially. And then you kind of get over it and you realize this is the reality and that women don't love us, so it doesn't serve us well to do the same. I'm not saying that's a good thing. Just saying that's just how a lot of men, that's the conclusion that a lot of men come to in order to deal with that, um, the fact or the reality that a lot of women don't feel that. I'm not saying women don't, but in general, at least in America and the modern women, that's the way they genuinely think and how they really feel.
I got you. Okay. No, I got you right there. Let me get this comment, then I'm going to come back to the panel. Let's see. Shout out to Kenyatta. She said, just had this conversation in Black Girl Luxury Group. They were mad at me when I said men love unconditionally and women love conditionally. It was based off of a video someone posted in the group. Yeah, no, I appreciate that comment right there, Kenyatta. Yeah, no, there's some validity to what's being said. But what I will add to this that I do have a problem with is as men, part of this is based on how we've been conditioned. Yeah, but what I mean by that is we all, men and women, have a level of value. Yeah, when we're born. Yeah, we have that value when we're born. But a lot of guys these days have been conditioned not to believe that. So we've been put in this mindset that essentially we got to perform or we got to earn respect or earn the recognition of our value based on what we can do. And see, that's incorrect. Yeah, we've kind of played into that. And see, now what happens now is we subscribe to it. Yeah, we kneel down to it. Yep, the fact that we're in a situation where a young lady can tell you that she's only going to love or respect you or whatever based on what you can do for her, that's because we allowing that mess to happen. Yeah, see, at the end of the day, we really got to understand how we've been conditioned as men. We've been conditioned to feel that we are less than. Yep, if we don't have material things or we don't have this amount of money or we can't show this amount of wealth or we can't wear this type of stuff or whatever to attract the attention from a female. But at the end of the day, at the core of it all, the value has already been there. You have the value as a man and your ability to protect, that was already given to you. You have the ability for you to produce, that was already given to you. The ability for you to generate, that was already given to you. So that's not based off anybody else's validation of if you can do that or not. Yep. And then it also shouldn't determine how a lady is going to treat you or how she's going to respect you or love you based on what you're producing. Yeah, so even though the video is valid in what the man is saying, we got to recognize the conditioning that takes place in there that we then start to project out to other men like us. Yeah, we got to be careful of that. Go ahead, Joe.
Uh, I just want to add to that real quick that I absolutely agree with your breakdown of that. In the sense that we're taught that we have to earn things that we don't have any value. That's the implication. You don't have no value until you achieve this goal, do this milestone, do this or do that or the other. And then it's a rude awakening when a man achieves a lot of these things, material, career, or whatever it is that is external outside of himself. And then he gets a rude awakening from women who still look at him as trash or look at him as lesser. Um, because it's never been external to begin with. But we've been trained to believe it's external. So we put all our effort into achieving or acquiring external things for that validation that upon acquiring it, some of us that do, you realize, oh, wow, it's not the money, it's not the cars, it's not the clothes. All those things are superficial. So what else is it that I'm missing that I thought I had to get that I don't have that because she's still not giving me the respect or the love that I thought I was going to get upon acquiring these things. And so what I've learned over time is that I feel like that one quality, that one thing, and I think you touched upon this like maybe 2 weeks ago. A man, at least in my case, who practices a strong sense of sexual discipline, a man who values himself so much to the point where he's not pornography, masturbation, constant releasing of himself. That is a big, big key because that's when I know it's a turnaround by accident, just by accident, not doing anything. I'm too busy to do. Where's all this attention? Where's all this love coming from? And I thought it was the opposite. I thought if I get the money, the cars, the girl, and I got all that stuff. But it didn't make any sense when I had none of that stuff. And I just said, you know what? Let me just focus on other things and not debase myself, which is what the society promotes amongst men. You're supposed to go around, sow your wild oats, and do all these different things. We debase ourselves thinking that it's a masculine thing. But then when you hold on to that thing, that is what women are drawn to. It's innate, and I'm not going to get too deep or esoteric with it, but that is actually the key. So that inborn value is in every man, but we're taught to get rid of it, not to value it. Oh, it's useless, it's worthless, it doesn't mean anything. You can just make more of it, but we deplete ourselves of that essence, and then wonder why we're not getting the respect in women that we seek and that we naturally deserve. But you can't have respect from a woman if she doesn't sense that masculine energy within you in the way that you sense in her. So they're taught to hold on to their essence in a way, and they mastered it. But men are told the opposite. Oh, it's worthless, it's useless. Therefore, by getting rid of it, it makes the man therefore useless. No matter how much money he makes, how many cars he has, how many businesses he owns, none of that matters to a woman. Because she can be drawn to a homeless man who holds that essence, but be be reviled by someone like a Jeff Bezos if he doesn't have that same thing, but be attracted to someone lesser than. Even though he's a billionaire, she can be attracted to a whole different man that it confuses people. But he's got all this money, the cars, the status. It doesn't, not that it doesn't mean anything. It can be an expression of what goes on internally. But a lot of men leave heavily on the external things, and it was a shock to me. So I had to learn how to
Right.
kind of figure out what is it that what is it because none of this stuff is it doesn't matter. I'm still getting a disrespect. I'm still not getting a look and switch. As soon as I realize, oh, I'm not supposed to be doing these things that I was told was okay to do all my life. It's a whole, but I'm gonna leave it at that. That's not even the conversation. But when you're talking about the unconditional love, that is an instance in which women can unconditionally love a man, and I think it's a response to a man who doesn't hold it, and women just kind of react to it, and the man is like, well, why don't you love me the way I love you the same? It's because there's nothing in you that I can feel. She's talking about the feelings and all this. I don't feel that energy, that's something in you that is not there. But I can't put a name on it. I don't know what it is, but I just know you don't have it. I can't respect you because you don't have it. And the man is like, well, I thought it was the money, the car. So most men just don't know. I
Right.
hope that makes some sense. It probably doesn't
Yeah,
make much
yeah.
sense, but it makes sense to me.
No, no, no. I got you. I got you. Listen, it's really speaking to being authentic, being genuine, and essentially the build of your character. Those are the key pieces. You have not all these material things that essentially we've been fed or taught that we gotta quote unquote produce or have in order to be loved and respected. So yeah, it just really comes back to those foundational things. And like I said, when those things are missing, because even in this conversation of a young lady, you know what I'm saying, and having these conditions around if she's going to love a man to this extent, or if she's going to respect this man. If we think about that right there, that's crazy. Yep, that's crazy right there. See, you know what I'm saying? Love and respect used to be about coming together. It used to be about being a unit. It used to be about supporting each other and building. But if now you're telling me if I'm not generating this money, or if I'm not doing this or I'm not doing that, then I can't get this love and respect from you, then it's just like, what are we doing? Yeah, it's like, why are you even concerned about loving somebody if it has to come with all of these conditions? If they fall short or whatever, like, then we might as well just wrap it up at that point. Because see, once again, that's something that's not tangible. Yeah, that's something that's not going to last. Unless then we got a couple videos to support that. I'm gonna keep going because I said I got a few that's just tied directly to this that came over.
My husband, he knew what it was up front.
Right.
He ended up going broke. I have expectations. When you don't meet my expectations, I move the hell on.
You left your husband because he went through a little financial struggle.
And did.
At any point in time, did you feel that love should have kept you there?
I feel like he didn't love me because if he did, he wouldn't have went through a financial struggle. A man that loves a woman don't go through hard times.
Go ahead,
She
Coco.
proved my point.
You can't believe what you just saw, can you?
That was the chick that slept with the friend, right? Okay, so
What?
the one when we did the show, because she left her husband and slept with his friend because he lost.
Right. Oh, I remember that. Okay.
Previous show.
So I have to go back to what my man said in the video. That's the delusion of a woman. So you believe that. I'm sorry, I'm trying to process.
I need to run that back. I gotta run that back.
No, I'm just trying. So she believes that if he loved her, then he wouldn't have hit a financial struggle.
Correct.
So his job fired him because he didn't love her. Is this what she's trying to rationalize in her mind? Like, or maybe she thought he should have had access to unlimited resources so that even if his job did lay him off, he would have been okay. Now, granted, there should definitely be a safety net accessible. However, was he that when you married him? Let's just be honest for a second. Was he the guy that saved money, put money to the side, had investments? Was he that guy? Because if he was not that guy, or at least trying to be that guy, on his way to be that guy, when you married him, then what made you believe that he was going to be able to marry you and never hit any type of financial struggles, especially ones that are out of his control? Because if he works for a company, he cannot control whether or not they let him go or not. He cannot control if they have enough work to keep him. He can't control any of those factors. So if he was not the guy that was always good with his money, always putting something away, had 401k, had investments, if he was not that guy, or at least trying to be that guy, then what would make you think that he could never end up in a situation where there might be some financial struggles. I mean, it's not realistic. It's not realistic. Everything we've seen from what happened in 2008 to what happened, during COVID, everything that we've seen is that people hit financial situations for multiple reasons.
Facts.
So for you to think that somehow you're going to be protected from that is the delusion of a woman. So I'll land, because honestly, I just wanted to point out how these women get on these platforms and they keep proving men right. Now, that man just said in the clip, delusional women, because here she is agreeing with him, but then saying she don't believe it. So, ladies, it just is not looking tonight. It doesn't look good for the ladies.
You know what? I'm gonna have to push back a little bit, because I'm always the contrarian of the bunch.
Go ahead.
But I feel like we as men have to get our thing together. And what I mean by that, we not our grandfathers. Our grandfathers did what needed to be done. They would go to work. If they got laid off from Ford, they was painting houses. If they wasn't painting houses, they was fixing cars. They was making it happen regardless. These new age men, they lose their job. They don't know what to do. They land up on their woman. And that's just how it is. So I understand the issue of we can't have it both ways. We can't have our value is what we produce. I'm sorry, that's just how I get down. If you don't have no results, then I can't rock with you. If you're telling me how to be a good father and your kids ain't shit, I'm not listening to you. If you're telling me how to invest and you ain't invested a quarter, I believe in results. I believe you can't lead without results. That's why I believe men need to get their thing, and it's not a dollar amount. People want to say buying these. It's not that. It's knowing who you are, being comfortable with that, and finding somebody that you're equally yoked with. But men are not waiting to do that. They jumping out there before they know who they are, before they know their purpose, before they know their vision, and then they want a wife or a girlfriend to respect their hustle when they don't have no hustle. Oh, well, stick out with me when no. Because women, and I just hate to say it, women are being trained to do that because their mamas is telling them, look, you got to take care of yourself. You can't depend on no man. And the woman is coddling their boys and telling them, well, your value, you ain't, you just got to be who you are. Love you for you. And they being treated like a woman. So I understand your point, Quay, but we got to show and improve. Just like your boy Kevin Samuels say. How you gonna check a chick when you ain't got nothing to check her with? But a whole lot of talk, a whole lot of ambition, a whole lot of, I want to be a leader, but I ain't got no results. So I think then it's a level of respect. When you're taking care of things, it just is. I'm 52 years old. I had better results when I was on my path. I'm not going to necessarily say because I got money, because that's relative to who you're talking to. Having money is relative. If you're talking to, you know what I'm saying, Quay, having money can be 50,000, having money can be 100,000, depending on who you're talking to.
Yeah,
so
no,
I just think that we as men have to understand we can't have it both ways. If you want to lead and you want to respect, then you got to prove it. If you want to be a 50-50, then you're going to have to take 50-50 respect.
Yeah, no, I understand that, man. But see, the problem is that's not what's happening. What's happening is folks are putting a dollar amount on it, then saying because you have this dollar amount, then now that means essentially that you can lead and then you get the respect. And see, that's a problem. It shouldn't be that way. Yeah, but dollar amount does not determine if I can lead and get respect. Yeah, that's not how that works. But see, that's what we do today, though.
But I think your results prove that. It's like I own a business. I have workers. Your value to me is what you're doing. It ain't about what you're saying. So your value is that you're coming to work every day. Your value is that you're taking care of my guys. You're going the extra mile. You ain't just coming and doing what's told of you and expecting for me to value like I value to somebody who comes in 15 minutes early every day. I'm not gonna value y'all the same because I value on results. So if your husband saying he a leader, but he not providing, he's not provision. Yeah, I believe providing is money. I'm sorry, it is what it is, and I think that the problem is that we're not evenly yoked, and men don't have just like with me. I understand that I live way below my means. I think people live they live too far above their means. So I would have to fall off a cliff. Old man told me one thing. He said, "Don't never depend on no woman's money. Don't never depend on a woman's money. Yeah, it's good that they got it. It's good to be, but they not made for what we made for. Keep them in their feminine. Keep them over there to where they don't have to worry about And I know that might be, people might say, "Oh, well, that's not really possible." But yet, it's possible in today's times. Because if you would live at your means and live on one income or live on 1.5 income, you'll do better. But everybody won't. She got a Mercedes and he got a BMW. If you make 100, I make 100. We're not gonna live off 100. We're gonna live off 200.
Right.
That's the problem too. You know what I'm saying?
No.
So I just feel, because I see too many low performing men. I just don't think that we can have it both ways. You can't expect all this respect and admiration when you ain't doing shit. You're not stepping up. These women out here working, taking on 2 or 3 jobs. A dude lose one job, he don't know what to do. So I think as men, we got to step up and take our place in leadership. And it's a lot of it is provision, especially when we're getting together later on in life. We're not getting together anymore at 21 and 22 when we both broke and we both hustling and our value is more than that. We getting together at 35, 41, 40 after we done had a lifetime and all that. So it is what it is. My thing is, I know we would like for things to be a certain way, but it is what it is.
No, I get that. I get that, Vincent. Like I said, we're not disagreeing on everything. But I think even to your point, that explains why we're seeing so much division now. Yeah, once again, it's back to these amounts. Let me get a couple of these comments. Then I'm sure of. Shout out to my guy Clifton Stevenson in the building. He said paying bills doesn't make you a leader. No, it doesn't. Yeah, those two things aren't even connected. But even this comment right here, like I said, this is what we will try to, once again, this is what we will try to validate or use to validate someone's level of leadership. Yes, it's like what we've lost sight of is the core of what these words mean. Yeah, we've turned leadership into just purely provision. We've reduced provision down to just money. Your provision is so much more than money. But see, we always reduce these things. This person is not this level of leader if he's not producing this type of money. This person is not this. He's not a provider if he's not making the 200,000. Like if somebody ain't making 200,000, that don't mean they're not providing for a family. Like I said, I always use Paco as the example. Yeah, Paco cut grass. Paco trim bushes. But he make his check. He bring the money home. The house is fed. Paco's wife don't even have to work a job. She at the house. But see, we'll look at that same Paco and we'll say he ain't no leader. Yeah, we'll say he ain't providing because he making an average salary. And see, that's where the issue comes in. And then we do that stuff, to your point, Vince, we do that stuff in our 30s and our 40s. And this is why a lot of us in our 30s and 40s can't get together. Because once again, even though we in our 30s and 40s, a lot of our mindsets is still in their teens and 20s. But see, we like to look past all of that. Yeah, we like to say because I'm making this 6 figures, I'm so much more mature and so much grown, and my mind is so much farther along. But when you sit down and actually have conversations with folks, that ain't true. Yeah, we just literally watched the video where a young lady said she disagreed with my man, but then came back and said he right. That lady is a grown woman. So see, some of this stuff that we be thinking and some of this stuff that we've conditioned ourselves, we got to check ourselves. Yeah, some of these ways that we think is off. Yeah, this is one of the primary reasons why in our grown, mature, quote unquote, mature age, we can't find a way to come together. Yeah, if you got your kids, I got my kids, but somehow we can't mesh together. What's the holdup? Oh, you ain't got as much money as I got. Oh, your house ain't as big as mine. We gonna sell yours and not sell mine. Well, no, let's sell yours and not sell mine. We can't even come together on the basics. Yeah, you sitting here talking about this man he ain't providing, he ain't no leader, but yet you sitting over on 70,000 in credit card debt trying to see how it's gonna get paid. But you want to talk about what he ain't doing. And see, that's a lot of people's lives today. Yeah, but we got a chance to see some of the background on some of the people that's saying some of this stuff, we would be surprised. Yeah, we'd be surprised. All of the defaulted mortgages, we'd be surprised. All the blown up credit cards, maxed out credit cards, we'd be surprised. All the repossessed cars they done had, we'd be surprised that they live in check to check. But then at the same time, we walk around talking about how somebody else ain't got some value. Yeah, we walk around talking about how somebody can't lead me because they making a certain amount of money, but yet your stuff jacked up. But you just don't want to talk about that though. Yeah, so man, all of this stuff, man, it all comes back to our mindsets. It don't matter how old you are. If your mindset is jacked, your mindset is skewed, it's jacked and it's skewed, and it is what it is, and we got to own that. Yeah, it's not always because somebody they ain't generating some money, so that make them less of a leader. It ain't always because of this dude ain't making all this money that he ain't got these kids. That ain't how that works.
But I think you missing my
that's
point,
how we convince ourselves, and that's the problem.
I'm not talking about all this money. I always take a teacher. Teachers don't make a whole lot of money. That don't mean he can't be a leader. I think we're missing the point of a dollar amount. What I'm saying is I look at provision as not just money, but being able to supply a need. That's provision. You know what I'm saying? So, because a lot of people say, well, Vince, you lead with money. No, I lead with provision because I'm always thinking about how to supply a need. If you come to me and say, hey, I want to put this chair together, I'm going to ask you whether you got a screwdriver. You got a screw. Have you looked at the instructions? Have you did this? Have you did that? So it's not necessarily a dollar amount because, again, that's relative to who you're talking to, having money, not having money. You know what I'm saying? People, and there are people who live in good lifestyles who making 50, 60,000, people who not living making 100. So it's not necessarily about the money. It's also being able to be in your purpose. And I think that's what men have a problem with. We're not in our purpose. And so when you're in your purpose, you will be successful. That's what a man who's in his purpose will be successful. A man who's in his gift will be successful. So yes, if you're not, if you're doing something and it's not able to provide for you, then that's not your gift on whatever level. If you can't take care of yourself being a comedian, then maybe you don't need to be a comedian. I'm not talking about riding around in Mercedes. I'm talking about basic being able to take care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? So I think that we also have to understand that, it's not about the dollar amount with men. Now, with women, it's different because they have certain standards and they're not going to settle and all this other kind of stuff. But I just think a different type of way. I just think of how things are. I don't really care how we want things to be. I look at things how they are. I look at this thing. Okay, you got this. You get this type of respect. You got this. You're just like a pretty woman. She pretty. She going to get in the clubs. She going to do it. I'm not going to say, well, that's not fair. She pretty. She's fine. She gonna get extra shit. She gonna get whatever she want. Or you know what I'm saying? So I think that we as men, we can't have it both ways. So I agree with some women on that. You can't have it both ways. You can't lead me if you ain't leading yourself. How you gonna lead me and you can't take care of yourself?
I got you.
How you a 40-something-year-old man and you living with your mama talking about you a leader? How you 40-something years old and you got 3-4 kids you ain't taking care of, but you call yourself a leader? Leader is about your results. To me, I care about your results. And I have mad respect for any man, just like a teacher, a plumber, a painter. If you in your gift, you can make a living off of painting. But if you a shit painter, you ain't gonna make a living off of it. So you're not a leader. My thing is you gotta show me the results. Show me the money. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Show me, and the results is it is what it is. Can't check a bitch unless you got something to check her with.
I got you. Go ahead, Coco. I know you wanted to go. Go ahead.
So yeah, because at this point we kind of arguing points back and forth. But I speak more so to the mindset, right? And it's a toxic mindset for anyone, male or female, to believe that they have to do something first to be found worthy or valuable. It's a toxic mindset, and I'm gonna give a personal anecdote for y'all to understand why I say that. Also, it doesn't automatically mean when things aren't popping off for you that you're not on your purpose, because that's not really how purpose works. Sometimes your purpose will take you through things. Sometimes your purpose you'll be in your purpose and you'll be like, God, I'm doing what you told me to do. This is you gave me this talent, you gave me this gift, but it's not. Did I hear you wrong? It's not popping off for me. I went here, you told me to go there. I went here, you told me to go there, and it's not a straight line. Your path to your purpose is not a straight line. That thing has some peaks and it has some valleys. And the problem is people are not always patient. The person, him or herself, who's going through that isn't always patient with the process. So when you pull other people in, they also are not always patient with the process. We have context on this because we just saw a whole video and we saw the one back when she was talking about her husband and a friend. So we actually have context on this particular situation. And in this particular situation, this woman knew what she was getting when she got him. She knew he was a man that worked a 9 to 5. She knew he wasn't a baller. He told her that he would pay all the bills. And up until that point, he had been doing what he told her he would do. He had been paying all the bills. So he wasn't a deadbeat guy. He didn't lie to her. He was doing what he told her he would do. But life and unforeseen occurrences befall us all. So he got laid off. Now we can go back and forth about why he didn't have a savings and this and that and third. We also don't know what type of lifestyle she was living with him. We have no idea what her demand on his funds was, because baby, she liked to be kept. So we don't know what he was doing with his additional money with her. So we do have a bit of context in this situation. So in this particular situation, I would say, sis, you knew when you got with this man, he wasn't a baller man. You knew when you got him, he wasn't that kind of guy. So why weren't you more realistic? Why weren't you more like, well, I don't, he cool, he paying the bills and everything is going great, but I do want to make sure that at the end of the day, we're going to be good. I'm going to be good. You know what I'm saying? Since I don't have to spend none of my money on the bills. Sis, what was you doing the whole time? So we give guys a real hard time about why they ain't on this, why they ain't on their grind, why they ain't doing this, why they ain't doing that. But yet women are most educated, most this, most that. Where were you, sis? Where were you? You couldn't hold him down till he found another job? A couple of months, a few months. So back to the topic of women love conditionally and men love unconditionally. Unfortunately, even the back and forth between the two y'all is just proving us right. This is my personal anecdote, okay? My personal anecdote is this. I am now and have been for a few years a stay-at-home wife and mother, okay? I homeschool my son. This is something that I always wanted to do. I always wanted to homeschool my son, but I had no idea how I was going to be able to do this because I was a full-time working mom up until this point, right? Boom. So now I find myself in a situation where I actually can do this, right? Boom, I take a sabbatical. I can do this. It's wonderful. It's great. Except here's the problem. Through no fault, through no fault of anybody else's, this is me, and my mindset. We're talking about mindset. This is where this stems from. Through my mindset, I go, "Hmm, I'm used to working and I'm used to making a certain amount of money. And I'm used to being a now I am also someone who does not, I don't not this is I'm just telling for the story. I'm not somebody that like to anything about that. But I don't pay bills either. I don't either. I never had. So now I'm looking at it like, okay, well, I'm questioning my own value in my relationship. Not because anybody is making me feel any kind of way, not because anybody has said anything to me, not in my house at least. People on the outside always have stuff to say. But not in my house. My husband has not made me feel any kind of way. No, nobody that loves me has made me feel any kind of way. But here I am, like, man, I'm not, mind you, I wasn't paying the bills anyway. But I'm like, wow, what is my value? And that's crazy because meanwhile, I'm homeschooling my son. I'm managing things for my older son, who, he was going through his transitional phase in high school. I'm, basically helping my husband build a platform because of all of the branding that you see, that's me. So I'm like, wow, why are you questioning your value because you are not bringing in money? When you're doing all these other things, the things you couldn't do when you were making that money. But it's the mindset. When you condition a person to believe that their value has a monetary value and that is their main purpose and value, then that's a mind trip. That's a mind trip because you begin to actually go, well, what else is there to me? What other value do I have? So it's tripping me out that men are walking around feeling like until they can make some money, until they can contribute a certain type of thing to a relationship, until they can 100% provide for a woman, until they can do all these things, then they don't have the same value as someone else. That's crazy. I don't think we really understand what that does to a person mentally, and it's totally conditioning because it's not true. It's not true. Like, and thankfully, I have the husband that I have, and I have the support system that I have, and I have the God that I serve because I now know that that's a lie from the pits of hell. But what I'm telling you is we have to be very careful the language that we are using and the messages that we're sending to people because it's really toxic. As a human being, you have value. To society, you have value. And the minute a male child is born, he already has value, especially to society. So don't get me wrong. I understand what you bring to a relationship as far as provision, as far as leadership. To me, honestly, these two conversations don't necessarily need to be had at the same time because they are not mutually, exclusive. Like I feel like they need to be separated. And I feel like unfortunately we having these conversations about your financial provision and your value at the same time. And I think that's why there's conflict because really we shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be doing that.
Hey, Chloe, real
Wait,
quick.
wait. Sad note.
Oh,
Bitcoin
wow,
just hit
already?
100,000.
About time, about time. All right, hold that thought. We're gonna come back to that.
All right, all right.
Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead, Joe.
I want to take this over. My cough drop. So everything you said, Chloe, it sounds great. But I feel like what Vince will respond to, and what I would think is, you have the luxury of saying exactly what you just said. There has to be someone who's providing that financial stability for you to even say what you're saying. So you have the option not to work, whereas, or not to work in the way that we do, to provide financially, economically. Um, it's impossible to do what you're doing, and that you're able to work in the way that perhaps is more natural to what you want to do. Like you can be a homeschool, you can be a mother at home, you can do all these other extra things, you can help build the business on the side, but still, it can't be the both of you doing that, which you're talking about. So one of you had to make the money, whether it be you or him. Um, but typically, it's going to be the man who's going to do it if he's going to if he's if he's a if he's a pretty decent man and he's making decent money, he's going to have a desire to make it so it's possible for you to do exactly what you say that you're doing. Us men, unfortunately, we don't have that luxury. We don't have that ability to choose. Oh, I'm going to choose not to, or I can reevaluate my value as far as working and making money. I can stay at home, but see if that happens, then someone else has to pick up that slack or pay those bills or do those things on an economical level that you don't even have to worry about. And women typically don't like doing that for a man. So usually it's a man doing it for the woman. So I'm balanced. I try to be balanced and fair. I would say a man's value is internal, is innate. So I would disagree with Vince on that. But I would also agree with him in the sense that results is important. So my thing is that men put an overemphasis on achieving things externally, but still there's something inside themselves that's missing that a woman doesn't respect. Because a woman can look at a man's external accomplishments and say, wow, that's impressive, but I still don't like you. There's something about you I still don't like. Or a man or a woman can see a man that doesn't have anything and be like, wow, he's everything I want and need. And a man who has everything and be like, well, he doesn't even have anything. He's a bum. Is a man is supposed to have both. He's supposed to have a sense of self-worth, innate value that he values in himself, but he's also supposed to produce as well. So you were speaking on just the innate value and like, yeah, that's great. And the other half is that we also have to have tangible results. And also naturally, we just like to see numbers and cents. We like to see something that allows us to see we achieve this goal, we achieve this step. It's innate in us to look at it in that very logical, reasonable, logical way. Whereas a woman can kind of just like her results and her tangibility, her value is going to be in, how effective am I able to teach my children? How good of a mother am I? How good of a wife am I to my husband? It's different than what we have to do. We have to we have to focus on the numbers, on producing, on creating value in the sense that it produces money, which is today's time resources. Because we did it for since man has been alive. It used to be hunting and gathering. Now it's just hunting for the same thing, but now we're taking the money and buying food instead of hunting for ourselves. It's still us gathering resources, doing the things that come natural to us. But the point is that someone has to do it. So it's not leaning heavily on the one side where you say, "Oh, man doesn't have shouldn't have to do." Yeah, I wish that was the case. It's not. We have to go out here and produce, even if just for ourselves, like what Vince said earlier. If not for no one else, then for ourselves. Otherwise, we're living under someone else. And I can tell you from experience, living under anyone, even if it's your own parents at a certain age, that doesn't feel too good. It's like you feel like a desire to get out. Whereas a woman she might feel much more comfortable in that situation until she gets married, so a man comes around, he takes the mantle from the father, and so it's going to be a different situation. It's just a different situation. It's two different sexes, two different biological desires and urges. And you spoke about it from the perspective of a woman who has the option not to do the things that we have to do in order to provide and take care of our family.
So I think you missed my point because that. So you got me, but you didn't, right? So I gave my example to speak to the mindset. So when I'm speaking in this context, I'm speaking to the mindset, not to what we practically see, right? Because there's a disconnect between what we deal with, as in the situation that we have, and with our mindset. And what I mean by that is we have been conditioned. That's why I kept saying that. The conditioning is both for male and female, by the way. That's why I gave a female perspective. Obviously, I'm a female. But women are being conditioned just the same in this society to believe that their value needs to be some type of financial contribution, tangible contribution. Women are also being conditioned to this. This is what I was trying to point out. Men get it from women, perhaps, and women probably don't get it. We don't get it from you guys. We get it from society. Whereas men, unfortunately, get it from women. Okay, I understand that in relationships. Men are more. Not saying y'all don't have societal pressure. I'm not saying that, but you also have that added pressure of, will a woman submit to me? Will I even be able to get the type of woman that I want if I'm not providing a certain level of experience, if I'm not providing a certain level of financial support, if I'm not able to pay for her, if I'm not able to afford her lifestyle? I get that you guys get that from women. What I'm saying is we as women have a level of that we get from society, right? Our conditioning is coming from the standpoint of the more they can convince us to be earners, the more that they can make off of us. The more we are consumers, the higher of a tax base we are for them. So the society in general has a vested interest in making us also feel like our value needs to be some type of financial, tangible contribution, right? We do get that as well. So this is why I'm saying I'm speaking to the mindset, right? Nobody has ever said on this platform and said men don't need to provide results. I don't think that's what we're saying. Obviously, we understand that men need to be able to provide results. Obviously, we understand that men need to be able to, if you want to have a family, provide for that family. I think that's common sense. But is that not what this gentleman, because we're going to kind of go take it back, boop, boop, to the topic, was that not what this gentleman was doing, though? He was providing for his family. Now, we can argue back and forth whether or not that provision was what we think it should be or not. But he was providing for this family. He hit a snag, which can happen to anybody at any time. Okay? None of us are immune to a snag, because that snag could be you lose your investments. That snag could be the economy tanks. You got properties. Now they're upside down. You rent out properties and the people in your properties can't afford it. Now you're trying to find other people to get in those properties. Like snags, unfortunately, are a part of life. So anybody sitting on here watching this show on this platform that think that they can't be touched, I would advise you not to feel that way. It's not realistic. This is why your value cannot be simply in what you can provide. This is why my value never should have been in what I financially brought to the table. Does that mean I never should have been bringing anything to the table? No. But it means that I should never have placed my value in that solely. That never should have been my mindset. And it should never be a man's. Like, that doesn't mean you shouldn't be working. It doesn't mean you shouldn't be providing, but that should never be your mindset. Because what if that does happen? What if something does happen? Then what? You're not valuable anymore? Throw the whole man away. This is why I speak to the mindset, because this is what we got to break free of. This. Oh, man.
Let me let JR go, because I know you've been waiting. JR, it's on you, man. I know you've been waiting for a minute. Come off mute. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just start off with obviously Miss Kobe obviously said a lot there, and she obviously brought it obviously round to where I was going to start. And I was going to say, like, obviously I do agree with obviously Mr. Vince, with the whole sentiment of men being men, whichever way people want to see it, but we know what it is, right, in this society. So I do agree with him. And of course, he also mentioned their purpose, right? That's a big thing. What is a man's purpose? And of course, it's to achieve one for self. And of course, we know that men, of course, you go out there, get your resources, etc., etc. And of course, we're trying to mine out exactly what it is that it should be that a man should, of course, bring. And obviously, when I say resources, um, it, of course, it's a lot of things, right? Man's character, of course, your money, what, of course, you can provide for people, just like what Mr. Vince said. So that, of course, is what I think a lot of men understand. But it's one thing doing it, right? Now, Miss Chloe obviously brought it around to obviously the whole society stuff and whatnot. And the problem is that, like she said, women being conditioned like men or whatever it is in terms of what the value is and whatnot. Um, and of course, that's where the clash is as well, because there's only ever been one pot. And now that there's more people working, we're all splitting that same pot. And that's one big issue, if you know what I mean. So for a man competing against a man, may the best man win, right? You get the highest, the highest paid job or whatever it is. I'm guessing that's what it used to be up until, of course, women came into the workforce, and now I'm competing against the best man and, of course, the best woman. Now, if this woman wants the man to be this six-figure earning man or whatever it is, now, like I said, in that one part when it was just men, it is more favorable for the man to get that. Like I said, may the best man win. Now that I'm competing against the woman, if she gets that, she's now acquired that six-figure sum. That's one space that's taken for that man. So there's a bigger problem when it comes to that, of course, the money situation as to why a man can't provide. So now we're taking it back down to where it shouldn't just be a man providing. So it should be a case of, okay, the man's character and all that stuff. And I think that's where now obviously we're getting confused, because it's a case of who's um, putting this on men and who's putting this on women. And of course, when we say society is putting it on women, right, we know what we mean. Of course, it's the higher ups, like Miss Chloe mentioned, about the whole money situation, etc., and whatnot. Now, my whole thing is it's that for this thing to work, right, is it a case of, do we go back to how it used to be, or do we come back together? Like I always say, we have the cheat code. My woman doesn't have to go out there and work for somebody else. Like Mr. Vince said, 100 and 100 is 200. Depends on how you live on that 200, right? But we've got the cheat code, we've got the internet. Raise the kids at home, but let's work on something where we can build you something, but also for the family, let's get somewhere, like I always say, right? And Miss Chloe obviously said, oh, sorry, I forgot what she said, but but going back to Mr. Vince, what I was going to say about the men basically is that I get where you're coming from. But of course, today, with the way society is, you said about men being men, the purpose. But I think the real word here that we should probably look at is when we're talking about the men not doing what they're doing is it's their desire to want to do it. Is there any desire to want to do things the way society is currently shaped for men? Of course, from a man's point of view, right? Women obviously have their own point of view regarding men, how men are moving. But in terms of how women are moving today, it's affecting men in terms of not just women, sorry, just women and the way society is shaped up things. It's affecting men in terms of what Mr. Vince is saying. But like I said, I agree with what he is saying. He's not wrong. And I'll leave it there.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, man. No, I think the thing is, I don't think anybody is completely wrong. Yeah, everybody has their perspectives on how they see it. But I think the piece that we have to consider, and listen, this is kind of going back to Chloe's point, is the mindset. Yep, a lot of our mindsets.
That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, sorry,
ahead,
mindset. Yeah, mindset. Yeah, slipped my mind. Yeah, sorry to cut you off. So yeah, the mindset. So yeah, that's what's going back down to the mindset where, because we're pointing the fingers at each other about like the chicken egg, which one came first. It's making things complicated. But we know the situation where the higher ups are dangling a lot of things, which is then confusing our mindsets. And then we go separate ways, which then, like I said, the desire for men to want to, love a woman unconditional today. The desire for a woman to love a man without, conditions and whatnot. So as men, we've always known that's how it's always been set up. But today, because the way, like Miss Price said, that society shaped it up, it's all about the money, is killing everyone. Whether I want to say, it's the woman, it's the man and the woman that are suffering at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, facts. And listen, it really comes, it comes back to that mindset, and then to the fact that we just have materialized so many things. Yeah, let's say when you think back, listen, just for comparison, when you think back to folks who got together in their 20s, there ain't nobody had no money like that. Yeah, you was getting with folks because they had good character, they was cute, they treated you nice, they loved on you. Y'all had fun when y'all went out bowling and went out to dinner and this and that. And it's not that mindset, that the thing is that mindset, we have shifted away from that mindset, but that mindset really was a foundation that really created strong relationships, because it wasn't materialized. It was about being genuine. Oh, this person's nice, I like them. Yeah, they cool peoples. See, those things that we used to say, that's what made great relationships. Then it was like, okay, so I done picked this person because they got good character. So I already know, based on their character and how they move, they're going to be able to generate. Yeah, this young lady, yeah, she's always nice. She always soft. You know what I'm saying? She see I'm dealing with some nonsense. She know how to come rub my back and talk that little stuff in my ear. So just based on that, I know that is a good chance, if I do stay with this young lady and we start a family, she's going to be a great mother. So that's how we used to look at things. It was off of the foundational pieces. It wasn't off the material. But see, that's the part that we changed. And I think that's causing a lot of our dysfunction now. See, now we want to base it off of the material. Yep, now we want to base it off of the production. Now we want to base it off of the numbers. Now we want to base it off of the assets acquired. Now we want to base it off somebody's credit score. Yep, and see, that's backwards. Because typically somebody's character and the way that they move, that typically would dictate your credit score. But see, we don't look at that anymore. We just look at the credit score. We look at the character after. Yep, and that's backwards. Yep, and that's why it's so hard today in 30s and 40s and 50s to pull relationships together. Because we don't prioritize the foundational things anymore. Yep, the foundational things is what creates the results. But see, we only want to look at the results. We don't look at the foundation. Yep, and it's backwards. Yep, and that's why we see what we see. That's why a young lady would even be telling you, if you don't do this, this, and this, I'm going to leave you. Yep, if you don't make this type of money and you keep it up, the duration of our relationship, I'm going to divorce you and go a separate way. That's the only reason like that. The only reason something like that would even be happening. Because that tells me that we didn't get together in the beginning based off the foundational things. We only got together because you saw my results and you thought I was going to be able to keep that up for the duration of our relationship. And because I hit a low spot, now you want to cut me off. And see, that's where we go wrong. And see, typically it didn't used to look like that. It used to be, I got with you for the foundation. So I know you're going to produce. And then when you produce and hit your low spot, I got your back. I'm going to hold you over because I know you're going to get right back in the game. That's how it used to look. But see, that's not what we do now. And that's why we see what we see.
I thought that's what helped made us. Wait, was this lady, was she married or just boyfriend, girlfriend?
Man, it's supposed to be a
Oh, they were
helpmate, man.
married.
That helpmate going farther and farther away, Joe. I don't know what's happening to that, man.
I think it sounds good on paper, right? It sounds good. But the women, they're not, like you said, they're not being trained and conditioned from a young age on what that even looks like and how to execute it. So I would imagine her position, all I've ever been taught was to look at a man and what he can provide for me in the here and now. And if that gets cut off, she's like a deer in the headlights. So what do I do? What do I do? Leave, and then I'm a cheat, and then get with the guy who got the money. She doesn't even, may not even realize that she doesn't even know what to do in that situation. She probably hasn't even considered it. She hasn't been taught how to do it, what that looks like. She could have helped that man get a better job, better career, start a business. But if she doesn't have the tools and if she hasn't been conditioned or trained in the schools, because we know the public schools in Detroit, they don't teach you none of that. They teach you everything else but how to be a helpmate, or even with a man's case, how to be a male, how to be a provider, a protector. So yeah, everybody thinking opposite. You know, the man thinking his only worth and value is the money. So I'm going to make money, but then, like Chloe said, what happens when something an act of God happens and you just lose a job? You lose your income, 6 figures gone just like that. Now you spend the next 6 years, 6 months of your life looking for a job in the interim, and the woman doesn't know what it means to even help a man in that situation, so they can still maintain what they have and be able to get through it together, through sickness, through health, through death, through its part. All that goes out the window because neither one really knows what they're doing. That one is valuing the money, and then when the money goes, he doesn't know what to do with it about the situation. He might start floundering because he's like, "Oh, I had something, but it's gone." But he's supposed to have been equipped and given the tools on how to manage a situation like that. And she's um supposed to have been equipped and given the tools on how to manage a situation in which she now has to not necessarily step up but fill in and just help the man, help mate, if you're that's your wife, that's your husband, to get himself back on his feet and higher than what he was before. So it's all messed up, man.
Yeah, we all over the place, man. And I said, at the end of the day, it's just support. Yeah, I'm not saying that this young lady got to take care of this man. I'm not saying she got to drag this man along. I'm not saying none of that because I'm not even talking about that type of guy. Yeah, I'm talking about a guy who gets out here and handles his business. Yep, and at the end of the day, a guy who handles his business, he has a certain level of character. It's just there. Yeah, it don't matter what industry he in, what business he in, it doesn't matter. He gonna do what he do regardless of what it is. One day he might be selling sandwiches, the next day he flipping cars. Like, it doesn't matter. That's just in him. But yeah, those foundational things, I said, in that mindset, that's really what's got us messed up. But let me keep going. I got another video because there was a couple that came in.
What's love got to do with it?
It never does. It never does. Because when it comes to let me finish before you even go to it. When it comes to the other species, the great species, one of God's greatest gifts to not just earth but to man as well. It's always conditional. It'll never ever be true love. Ever. I don't care what nobody say. It's always conditional. Fellas, remember that. Listen to me. Always. Because if at any point you are unable to provide what you fell in love with, or things happen to change, yeah, okay. Okay, tell me, show me that love. Tell me, show me that love. Because you lose your ability to provide, or you lose that job. See how long she stick by you. All right.
That's why I don't get Ocho. Well, we break up and we stay. Well, I'm still in the apartment. You just asking for trouble down the road.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all I'm saying. And I.
Yeah, so another example. Let's just shout out to Vince for that video right there. But yeah, just another example. Yeah, if you heard what Ocho said, and this is the key right here. He said if she fell in love with what that man was doing, and if he can't keep producing that, then essentially it's a wrap. Yeah, but see, that's the problem right there. If the young lady done fell in love with something that you doing versus falling in love with you, that's the problem. Yep, then y'all shouldn't even be rocking. Because he's something that you're doing is just something that you're doing. Yeah, if I'm out here flipping these coins and she falling in love with the money from the coins, but she ain't falling in love with me, Quay Price, for who Quay Price is, then we don't even need to be rocking. Because you're not even really here for me. You here for what I'm generating or what I'm doing or what I'm producing. Yeah, and that's not even how that's supposed to go. Go ahead, Vince. Go ahead, man.
Got 2 comments. I understand what you're saying, and my wife tell me this all. Well, it don't matter. Yeah, it do. It matters. It matters.
Get her on here, Vince. Get her on here.
She not gonna come on here. She ain't gonna come on here. She ain't gonna come today. Oh no, I love it, and yeah, whatever. Okay. But I know the level of respect is because I provide now. And I think that I've been kind of jaded because, I had a child at 17 years old. So I made a lot of mistakes early on in my life. And by doing that so early, I made a lot of financial mistakes. I did a lot of things out of struggle. And when I got before that judge, they didn't care about my character. They didn't care about my purpose. They cared about that money. When I went to the friend of the court, she didn't ask me, well, do you see your child? Are you spending time with your child? It was like, sir, you're in arrears. How you gonna pay him? When I went to the judge for traffic court, paying tickets, I don't know how y'all ever been in that situation where your license was messed up. Mine was messed up for years. I voluntarily went to court to try to get my license straight. The judge was gonna give me 90 days, but the sisters, they giving them all kind of, oh well, judge, I had to take my baby, I had to drop my baby off at my mama's house, and we're gonna help you. But judge, I got kids. I'm going to work. Judge told me one time I was working out on 16 in Mile. Buses don't go out there then.
Right.
And this is before Uber.
So
Judge told me, why you got a car note? You can't afford a car note. You need to be paying your child support. Well, Judge, how am I going to pay my child support if I can't get to work? Well, sir, you're going to have to figure it out. So I just look at society for what it is. We don't get no breaks as men. We don't get no breaks. We don't get no, we feel sorry for you. We're going to help. No, where is the money, sir? If you don't have the money, sir, we're going to put you in jail, sir. We don't care about your character and your nothing. So I think I do have a jaded view on society because men don't get no breaks. We don't have the option to say, oh, well, we're going to be stay-at-home dads. That usually don't work. It might be a couple people here and there where that work, but that usually don't work. We can't usually fall off for a long period of time. Yeah, you might lose a job, but yeah, man, the character gonna get up and get another one.
Thanks.
You know what I'm saying? And then if you lose that house, who they gonna blame? They're not gonna blame her. They're gonna be looking at you. Like, you let the house go. They ain't gonna be looking at her like, well, why you ain't get another job? They're looking at you like, why you let the house go? So, I mean, I understand a lot of what we're saying, but I look at reality for what it is. I don't try to buck reality. I understand, me, and then it's also me understanding of leadership, and then it's also about understanding where you are financially. You know what I'm saying? To where you're not living check to check or living beyond your means, but you have to have a certain type of leadership to get your woman to be on board with that. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I get it, but men don't get no breaks. We don't have the option to, because I don't know if y'all know how many male homeless shelters are there in Michigan and how many female homeless shelters. There's 0 male homeless shelters. There's
right.
tens of women. Men don't get no breaks. So I just look at it. If you don't get no break, you better get your money up. You better get your purpose up. You better be able to take care of yourself because you don't have no safety net.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I say I don't disagree with that at all. Let's say we understand the society that we live in and what's going on out here. And the society is not as supportive of men as they are of women. So we know that to be a fact. And like I said, I'm not speaking of a guy who can't take care of himself. Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm never talking about that guy. Yeah, I'm more so talking about the guy who is out here working his job, can take care of a family, and is then being told that his value is low because he's not making an amount of money that somebody else deems is a substantial amount of money. That's more so what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm talking about the fact that we do have guys out here who are average earning men that are successfully leading their families and leading their sons and leading their daughters. And then when they hit a low spot, then somebody's divorcing them because they hit a low spot. Like they can't get back in the game and get another job and get back to it. That's more so what I'm talking about. So I'm not talking about a cat out here looking for no handouts. I'm not talking about a cat who out here, you know what I'm saying, trying to skate by without handling his responsibilities. Yeah, I'm not talking about that. Because once again, and I stand on it, I've been speaking character all night. Yeah, but dude who has character to that extent is not going to voluntarily put himself in that type of situation. Yeah, now if something get thrown his way and he got to buck something that's done came his way and get back in the game, then it is what it is. He gonna do that. But yeah, I'm not talking about no cat who trying to move up in no female's house, trying to get her to take care of him. I'm not talking about no cat at 40-something years old trying to live with his mama. I'm not talking about none of that. Yeah, I'm talking about a dude out here, average man, handling his biz, trying to have a family, trying to move forward, trying to be married, trying to do things right. And then we still telling that dude that his value is low because he ain't making 150 and he ain't driving around in this and he ain't doing that. That's more so what I'm talking about. That's what we seeing, you know what I'm saying, in these videos. Yeah, we seeing in these videos a guy who's out there holding it down for his family. And because he hits a low spot, and now you got to hit him with a divorce because you got expectations. That's what we seeing in these videos. Yeah, we seeing in the Ocho Cinco video that he's saying that it's never gonna be unconditional, or that love that you're gonna receive from this woman is never gonna be unconditional because she done fell in love with the money that you making. And if the money dropped down a little bit, she out the door. Yeah, that's a problem. That shouldn't be that way. Yeah, I know, young ladies, I know they like things. I know they like, Tiffany bracelets and Celine purses and all this other little stuff that's out here. I understand all of that. Yeah, but if you're ready to bail out on your guy because he is trying to take care of his business and make sure you good, and you willing to bail out on that guy because he hit a spot, that's wild. Yeah, but that just tells me that you just didn't get with this guy for the correct reasons at all. It's really what that tells me. And I'm gonna say this too, Vince. I'm gonna say this too. Then I'm gonna let Joe go, but I'm gonna say this too. You gotta get Miss Williams on this show because I need to hear her tell me that if you ain't putting this money up, that she gonna bail out. I need to hear her say that because I don't think she feel like that. I know you.
Well, I don't think she would bail out, but I think her attitude would be different. I mean, I'm because love.
I don't believe that, man.
I would say pleasant attitude is conditional. I'm not gonna say love because I think she'll stick it out, but I don't think she will be as pleasant. I don't think she'll be cooking them wings hot when I get home, running. Yeah, Mr. Williams, let me get this for you. Let me get this for you. She'll be like, I guess I'll get it for you.
Yeah, you tell her, man. Tell her I'm gonna leave her for like 2 minutes one day.
I'm just realistic about things, man. Like I'm just realistic about things.
I got you.
But it's just like if she gained a bunch of weight, I still love her, but I don't put that on.
Come on, man.
But she gonna stay in the gym. Just like I'm gonna keep getting this money.
Mm.
It is what it
Okay.
is. We know our role.
All right, you tell her, man. You tell her I need her for 120 seconds. Tell her when she gets some time. I need her to come on here and validate because I think I heard you say that before. I need her to tell me what's up with that.
But the funny thing
Mr. Vince.
is when I met her, I always play myself down. Like I was driving the work van. I told her I worked for the place that I actually owned. So like I knew her. I said, let me see what she really, our first date was Chili's and we stayed there for 4 hours. I could take her to White Castle. She cool. So I know it's more than that, but I also do know that when you let a woman live in her femininity, you get better results because they're not as stressed. They're more apt to be pleasant. It just is what it is. I
I
get
get
it.
that. Yeah, no, I get that. I saw JR pop off. You said something to Vince?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask him a question. Yeah, obviously he said obviously part of the deal is obviously he goes to work, she goes to the gym. Who pays for the gym?
Well, she don't go to the gym. She naturally thin. I guess,
No, 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 I'm just saying. Obviously, if that was the case, he's paying for the gym.
Vince, you
I pay
paying
for
for the
the
gym?
Nah,
Shit, we're losing that here, man. God damn it!
I have to pay for the
You
gym.
see, you see the unconditional love there. He's gotta go to work. He was part of the deal. Her part of the deal is go to the gym, but he's got to pay for the gym. Shit. See that love there? Come on now, ladies.
I pay for the gym.
No, 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 no. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying a part of the, you know, what the topic is. The fact that you got to go to work as a man. That's part of your deal to her. Her deal to you is, stay in shape. But you got to pay for the gym for her to stay in shape.
But the thing about it is that people. I don't really like to talk about my relationship. I do talk about my relationship, but I don't like to because people wouldn't believe how good she is to me. I go out there and work 20 jobs.
Oh yeah, no, no, no. I wasn't talking about. I'm just saying, just in general, just in terms of like the topic. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense? Like
Yeah,
in
I
terms of
got
the topic, I wasn't saying that you in personal, Mr. Vince. Just like
Oh,
in general, the fact that as men, like unconditional love, I've got to go to work, so I'm keeping part of my deal. But your deal, it was like we said, you know, stay in shape. But I've got to pay for you to stay in shape.
okay,
Does
okay.
that mean
I do.
I wasn't
I do.
saying you in general, but you in
I
person,
do.
but just in general, that's the unconditional love that we're talking about here, So
for
yeah.
sure. Yeah, for sure, for sure. You want to say you come off, Coco?
No, I think I was gonna say, I mean, that's a trade-off. Like there are always gonna be trade-offs. That's kind of how it works, like there's always gonna be trade-offs in a marriage, especially, but even in a relationship, like at least a healthy one, there's always gonna be some trade-offs. I think that's just how it goes. Even if you look at dating someone or getting to know someone by taking them out, like the trade-off is, yeah, you get to go out with this person, but as a guy, when the check comes, you pay the check. Like that's a trade-off. So you're spending time with this woman, you guys are hanging out, you're enjoying each other's company, but yeah, when the check comes, you're gonna pay the bill. That's a trade-off, right? Like that. Yeah, that's how it goes. I think that the problem we have now is women used to appreciate it more, right? So I don't think they didn't used to mind as much because
Right.
I think one, women appreciated it more. I think there was a little bit more reciprocity at the time from a female. So, okay, maybe she wasn't necessarily paying the check all the time, but if she knew that you were willing to do things like take her out to nice places and plan dates and things like that, then she would do nice things for you. She was making lunches. She was bringing you food. She was doing, there was some reciprocity, right? There's a trade-off. Like that's how it should go in a healthy relationship. But going back to just like the topic, I think that, and this honestly can be my closing because, I feel like we have definitely talked this topic down. But I think going back to the topic of women loving conditionally, unfortunately, I just don't think that women have a leg to stand on with this particular topic. We are speaking to the general population, not to just individuals, because obviously there are women who love their men unconditionally, and there are men that love their women unconditionally, or vice versa. So we're talking to the general population. We're not talking to every relationship. We're not talking to every person, because we can't do that. And in general, unfortunately, what women keep doing is getting on these very public platforms and talking about how men need to have this specific criteria for them to submit to them, for them to want to be in a relationship with them, for them to want to give a man their time, for them to want to even consider a man on their level. Like, this is unfortunately the rhetoric that we hear on these platforms over and over and over again. So this can only lead us to believe that there's truth to this, that women indeed love conditionally. How many times have we seen videos where, like the one you showed tonight, the woman said, he told me that I was gonna be a kept woman, and he got laid off, or this happened or that happened, bad investments or whatever the case may be, and now he's not up right now, he's down right now, and I just can't be bothered. I'm not about to build a man. Now, no,
that's saying.
I'm not about to build a man. I'm not building a man. Now, mind you, this man was doing all of this stuff for you all this time, but all of a sudden you don't want to build a man. So what else can we think? What else could we say other than the love must have always have been conditional? And does this mean that men, in all scenarios are loving unconditionally? No, that's not true. But if we talk to the general population, men, I do believe there's truth to the fact that men are in it for different reasons. They're just in it for different reasons. And they could pick me, they could pick you, they could pick whatever woman they want to pick, right? So if they're picking you, there is definitely something that they are drawn to about you. And if they're staying, there is something that they are drawn to about you. And I'm not even about to say it's her body, it's her looks. Don't get me wrong. Of course, men are visual creatures, and they like that, and that's definitely a selling point. But that's not going to keep them forever.
Right. I got one last.
There has to be something more than that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I got one last Kirby. And then I'm done for the night. One last Kirby.
If we really feeling you, it's the ones we don't like. We make them do it all.
So you ain't like your husband.
I ain't gonna embarrass my husband even more on the internet, but he was a simp, and I seen the opportunity and I took it.
Well, I'm saying what his qualities was.
I mean, for one, he accepted the fact that I have 3 kids.
So you got 3 kids too?
I have 3 children.
All right. Last one of the night. Little curveball right quick. So that I saw that one as well. So this young lady talking about her husband, essentially calling her husband a simp because he took her on with 3 kids. So drop a comment. Let me know what you say. Panel. Is this a simp? Is this what am I hearing? Is she?
At least she's honest about it.
I mean, my comment was right on time. I hadn't even seen the video yet, and what I said still stands.
Huh. So
I mean, there you go. It's the same woman. That's the same woman. You see how she out here talking about this man? That's the same woman. We did not seen her in 3 different videos. She's disrespecting this man every chance she get. She married this man. So this goes back to, you married this man, but you married him knowing that you ain't even really love him like that. He was a simp. He accepted your 3 kids. Like, you didn't even really love him like that. Now you coming up off of him. I mean, once again, proven that this nice topic is true. Like, women love conditionally.
So what she said, she's honest. So you can feel the way that you feel about her, and she's a bad person. Well, that's actually honest. my opinion, how a lot of women think and feel, but they don't have the guts to come out on in public and say this. Like, it doesn't. It's like you're, it's like you're killing the golden goose, right? You're letting the cat out the bag, and that's what she did. But a lot of women, they wouldn't let that cat out the bag. They would feel and think exactly what she's thinking and saying. But obviously, maybe they might share it with their girlfriends, or they might just keep that internally. Like, oh, this guy really accepting me with my kids. Like, he's crazy. Like, I wouldn't have done it if it was the other way around, but he's doing it. So listen, he fell for it. That's just kind of sometimes unfortunate how the game is played. And
Well, Joe, hold on, Joe. Hold on. So are we saying that a dude that gets with a young lady that's got some kids, that make him a simp? Like, is that
if he's
what we saying now?
Yep.
if he's not perceptive, if he's not, he said, yeah. If he's not, if he's like head over heels about a woman, he's overlooking the indicators that she might be looking to get over on him. Um, and sometimes men fall into that trap. It's a spider's web. And you don't always dodge every single bullet. You're not like Neo in the Matrix. You get hit sometimes. And sometimes,
Wow.
in this instance, he might have gotten hit. And you might not even realize until it's too late. I mean, it's happened to me. It's happened to a lot of men. And that's how you become that jaded that Vince was talking about. You become hardened and you learn to maybe even overanalyze the situation. Oh, this person's setting up a trap. That person probably has like a nice little bed right there for you to fall on. But you in your mind thinking like Ocho Cinco, oh nope, they all do it. They all do it. But there's one woman that come out and that want to love you that way. But you can't accept it because you've seen too much. You've experienced too much of the opposite. So it's hard for even a man to get to the point where he can believe again that unconditional love is possible. So she just did to him what happened to Vince, what happened to me, what probably happened to JR, a lot of men. And she's speaking about this man, and now he's going to be more cautious about the next woman. So he might like a woman that has one or two kids, but he's going to say, "Oh, I remember that one girl I dated. She went on public and just embarrassed me. I know not to do that again." But the crazy part is that the next woman he sees could be a good woman who has those two or three kids. He's going to immediately write her off because I've been jaded. I've seen too much. I'm not taking that risk again. I don't think it's even good for either person, for either party, either sex, to do the whole unconditional love thing. I think both people should have conditions to what they want in a relationship because that's the honest truth. You expect a certain level of fitness in business case, and she may expect a certain level of provision. And I think that's okay. I think the danger lies in when a man thinks it's just all lovey dovey and like sunshine and rainbows like in kindergarten. That's not reality. That's what we see in a Disney fairy tale movie. That's what we see in Cinderella. That's what we see with Prince Charming, but that's not, unfortunately, that's not reality because there's
Mhm.
always a give and take to something. And then so when both parties come together and say, okay, I provide this, I provide that, that's good. But it's the one person, in this case, unfortunately, is usually the man who has that unconditional R&B love. Oh, I'll give you everything, baby, that type of thing. They come into a relationship with that, and then they get a rude awakening. Oh, wait, she's coming with conditions. I'm not. So that allows her to walk all over me or vice versa with a woman. If she's falling head over heels for a man, and then he's just run all over her, and she learns not to deal with it. But it can be good and bad in the sense that it can jade a person so much so that it can alienate them from people who have the capacity to love them but they don't want to accept it, or it teaches them, okay, let me be more careful and cautious of the next person I date in the future. So, but not so jaded to the point where you push someone away or you reject the love that's coming your way. It's tough because usually, typically, we go
I, got-
overboard, we go extreme.
I, got- I got you. I got you. Let me, Vince, I saw you hit, man. You want to say something real quick, man?
I don't know how she hit. I wonder how long he dated her because I don't see why he didn't pick that attitude up.
That part.
Sometimes you got to ask the question. I mean, he might have been a simp. I mean, there are men out there that do anything what a woman wants to do. He might have been a simp, and maybe that's just who he is. But I don't see how she can even fake an attitude of being nice and sweet and compromised. She don't give me that at all. But it's some men that like being, whipped and chained, and just like it's some
Oh,
women that like a dog. It's some women that don't like a nice guy. They cheat with married men, and then he might have been. I don't know.
I
Hey,
mean, I I guess
I don't see how she had that attitude. Is funky.
I
Women can hide it. They can hide it so
I
easily.
don't see how she
They're
her
like
hell.
chameleons.
nah, she I don't
So he
mm-mm.
might have liked it. He might, there's some guys that are
Or he might not
simps.
have known about it. He might not even seen it
Or just
because
like I'm not gonna
chameleon.
call it just like being taken advantage of. I'm not. I mean, simp is a harsh word. I'm gonna say it's
Nah,
certain that like being taken advantage of.
nah,
She
he's not.
said in her
Nah,
last video that she told him when they got together that um she expected to be kept, and he agreed that he would do that. So I'm not going to believe that he didn't get some type of inkling of what her attitude was. Just her even saying that, right, like, kind of already lets you know what it is in the beginning. But while we might be looking at her, we might feel a certain type of way. She might be his baddie. You know what I'm saying? She might have been his baddie, and he might have been willing to do that. But I did want to piggyback on something that Joe said, right? I think that everyone, and I would hope that everyone, has expectations of the other person in the relationship. But I think expectations is different than conditions. I don't know that, depending on what this condition is that you have, I don't know if that's healthy. Now, having expectations for the other person, on the other hand, you absolutely should have those. But the reason why I say that is because, if we're being called to, and I guess it depends on what your morals are, and I guess it depends on what your foundation and belief system is. Because if you're being called to love your neighbor, then you definitely should be expecting to love your partner unconditionally. You should. You should. It's kind of a requirement. It might not be a reality, but then that means you're not loving properly. And that's just the truth. You should have
I
expectations
love
for your partner,
unconditionally.
but you should have expectations for your partner, but you shouldn't, the conditions part, and depending on what that condition is, like, I just don't know if that's healthy. Because at the end of the day, that I think loving conditionally kind of goes against the vows. Like, I don't know how you could stand in front of, but then people don't respect vows. But I don't know how you could stand in front of witnesses and, or before God, because you really are. That's why you have to have somebody ordained to even do it. And say, um, to death do us part, sickness and health, rich or poor, as long as we both shall live, and then say, but on the condition of X, Y, Z, A, B, B, C, D, E. So
Wait, I got a question for you.
that's not necessarily, I just think when you go into it, we know people do, we understand that people do, but when you go into it with conditions, then you already lost. To me, that's not a strong covenant anyway.
So I got a question. I want to see how you respond to this. Hmm. All throughout the Bible, the stories about the promises to Abraham, there were conditions. It wasn't that God didn't love him less if he didn't fulfill those conditions,
What
but in order for
conditions?
him,
What conditions?
what these promises that end up, that end up,
Careful. What conditions?
huh?
Because I mean, if you gonna take it biblical, then you really gonna have to know what you're talking about. What conditions? What conditions did God give him, or did God have expectations for him?
So you talking about conditions, expectations. So to me, it
You
sounds
said
like
he
it's
had
one the same.
conditions. You said conditions, so I'm just, give me an example of one of the conditions he had. Just one.
I can't give you that. I'm just going off just the top of you silly Quay. I'm just going off the top of my head. I'm going off the top of my head from what I remember. I'm just talking about like in
Bruh.
general. When it comes to Abraham, when it comes to Joseph, like if he had slept with Potiphar's wife, these are
Okay.
these are
That's a
certain like
sin. That would have
dreams
been a
that you had.
sin. That would have been a sin, Joe. Yeah, God don't want you to
Oh, that's a
sin. So
condition.
That's
So
not a condition. Lord have mercy.
how is it not?
Boy, ain't no
That's
way,
not a
boy.
condition.
Boy, ain't
Those
no
are
That's
way, boy.
expectations.
so that would have been a sin because he would have been going against what God commanded, right? That's why he wouldn't do it because he knows that that's another man's wife. I'm not supposed to do that, right? Like, how can I be set apart, which just means holy, which God set apart Israel. Joseph was of the he was of the tribe of, well, what was that? Was he Judah?
Who
Joseph?
was that?
Joseph. No, Joseph. Yeah, you know what? Joseph, that's right. He lost his birthright. It went to Manasseh and it went to his sons. So technically he wasn't a tribe per se, but he was one of the 12. He was one of 12
Oh, yeah,
Jacob's
you're
12,
right.
right? So in that sense, yeah, he would not have done that because even though the law had not been established yet, still the covenant had been made with his father. So he knew what God expected of them, right? So he
Conditions.
would not have done that.
Conditions. You call it
It's not a
expectations. I
condition.
call it conditions.
That's not a condition. He didn't say if you do that. The reason why I say it's not a condition, because he didn't say that if you sin or if you fall short, then I'm not going to love you anymore. I'm not going to bless you anymore. I'm not going to deliver you. He didn't say that. He never said that. He did say, I do expect for you to, live holy. I do expect that. But he didn't say, if you don't live holy, though, that's it for you. Boop, you cut off. He didn't say that. You know why he didn't say that? Because Joseph married a woman from another nation, but he still blessed Joseph. And his son still got his birthright. So no, that it don't work. It don't work.
Damn, you got me. I ain't
Sorry.
gonna lie.
Boy, ain't no way, boy.
Don't
Boy, ain't
work.
no way, boy.
So yeah, but no,
Yeah,
I
you got
almost
me.
got confused there. No, but because Joseph was, yeah, he was one of Jacob's 12 sons. So yeah, but he wasn't a tribe because his birthright got passed to his sons. But yeah, anyway, you were saying?
Let me let JR get his little piece and we gonna close, man.
Just let
I'm
him
gonna get
off
you
the
back
hook,
one day,
Joey. Let him
Chloe.
off the
I'm gonna
hook.
get you back one day.
It ain't even about that. I love having those kinds of conversations, but I'm just saying you gotta be ready.
I know in my
Man.
mind, for some reason in my mind, I saw it as condition, but I will concede that that makes more sense.
Yeah,
So
you
that's just
risked
what
it
it is.
all, Joe. You gotta be careful, man. You risked it all on that one, man. JR, go ahead and say what you want to say, then we gonna close, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, obviously, for a guy, obviously, yeah, moment of truth. For a guy that's never read the Bible, I didn't know what you guys was talking about, but Joe, you lost that one very bad, innit? But going back to the video,
Don't
um,
do that.
yeah, yeah. So, oh yeah, I know. Obviously, we said the guy's obviously as simple whatever it is now. The guy's just is a super, 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 super sucker. That's what he is because I think somebody said that that's probably like his baddie or whatnot. So of course, he's willing to hold many L's just because she probably looks good to him or wherever it is. But in terms of the sim, obviously I think that's just a term that people use for married men or wherever it is because it's the sentiment is that married men obviously do more in a relationship than their wives, wherever it is. But it's whatever the man determines, whatever he gets back from his wife is whatever he determines. So yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, just in terms of the whole unconditional love and men, obviously women loving men with conditions and whatnot, it's just a tricky one. But um, how can I say this? With my girlfriend, half of the week she gets the good guy, and half of the and then for the rest of the week she gets like the bad guy. I give her the best of both worlds because then that way if you want to go you can go. Does that make sense? At least you got to experience both. Like I know it doesn't make sense, but in this current market, that's what it is, and you can't crash out like this super soccer that just like it doesn't really make sense.
Wait, so you
You
give
know
her
what I mean?
like the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other, and you kind of just
Yeah,
go
yeah,
back and forth.
Yeah.
Doesn't
You
that
What
know
get
does
them ones
that
there.
exhausting
look
though?
like?
Doesn't that
Say
get
again, sorry.
exhausting to you?
Huh?
Doesn't that exhaust you? Like where you have to, do you feel like when you do that, that you're playing a role in order to keep her like on the hook so she doesn't get too comfortable? Does that not like mentally and emotionally exhaust you in doing that? Having to play
No,
maybe some role that you don't want to do, but you feel like, oh, this is the society today, I gotta do it. And does that drain you personally in order to keep her around interested or not going crazy or disrespecting you in some kind of way? Does that make sense?
no, nah, Joe. I'm just a bad guy in it.
So a good guy
Man,
will exhaust you.
we gotta get out of here, man. We
No,
gotta get out of here.
I'm joking. I'm joking, man. I'm
I'm
joking,
joking.
guys. I'm joking.
I want to know what bad guy JR looks like.
Well, nah, I'm a good guy, man. I'm a good guy, man.
I see what I'm saying. Man, we gotta get up out of here, man. I'm taking closing and we go. Let's see. I'm gonna go across top, bottom, we go. Coco, you want to say anything before we get out of here?
I love my panel. Like y'all are the bomb.
For sure.
I mean, I really do enjoy going back and forth with all of y'all, but especially Joe. I want you to keep trying it, Joe. Don't give up. Don't give up, okay?
Never go quit.
Because you might catch me off guard one day. Don't give up.
I think I have at least once.
But no, I mean, I think that if anything, what this conversation really should have showed us is that there definitely needs to be a shift with all of our mindsets. Like there's been some conditioning on both sides. There's been some conditioning with men. There's been some conditioning with women. And honestly, the only people benefiting from it is the society at large. Like they are benefiting off of us feeling like we really have to work ourselves to some unattainable, invisible, goal that, how do we ever reach it? When do we ever reach it? When do we ever arrive? When do we ever get there? Do we actually ever get to enjoy the success that we have, had? And what does that look like? And it's just taxing. It's mentally taxing. And so I would just challenge, anyone that, has struggled with this mindset, or anyone who realizes that they've taken on this mindset, to challenge yourself to just like disconnect from the matrix, unplug. Like, I think that, part of the reason why we're so divided is because this particular division has been pushed and the narratives have been pushed. And I just think that, we're actually not quite as divided as we're being led to believe. And I think that if we can agree that none of this is benefiting us at all, we're not benefiting from it at all. Women, it's not like women saying, oh, we're more educated and we make more money now. It's not like, what has that done for you, sis? Is your life any better? And for the men who have been able to achieve great success and are, can say, hey, I'm in the 1%ers, or I'm in the top 10%, whoever, like, okay, what has that done for your mental health? What has that done for you personally, right? The things that actually matter. What has that done for you? How healthy are your relationships? Are you in a healthy relationship? What does that actually look like? So none of these things that we are being told to aspire to are actually helping us at all as individuals. And so I think that we should consider that. Think about that, because this is bigger than just this one conversation. And it's bigger than just, ourselves, because we have young people coming up behind us. And man, I want them to get it right. I don't want them to still be having these conversations at our age. Like, I don't want that for them.
Yeah, no, that's real right there. Appreciate that closeout, Vince. You want to say anything before we get out of here, man?
Yeah, I think also what we have to do is when we talk about getting into these situations and relationships, we have to look at what we have to give in the relationship, not what we're going to get. And I think I didn't have any expectations of my wife, but I knew what I was going to give, what I had to offer. And I vetted and analyzed what she had to give and what she had to offer naturally. So I think that's the thing too. You have to get with somebody who naturally is going to give you what you need. Just like I'm just a natural provider, protector, fixer type guy. You tell me your car is broke, I'm gonna take it to the shop. If you tell me your feet is hurt, I'm gonna rub your feet. I'm a fixer. She's naturally a nurturer. If she see, my toothpaste is low, she'll give me toothpaste. She see my underwear was raggedy, she bought me underwear. It was just those little things that that this person really loves me and really is concerned about me and really cares about me. And I think that's the thing that we have to get back to. It's not about money or status. It's about what are you willing to give someone and how are you going to love them?
It's real.
Unconditionally.
For sure. For sure. No, that's it right there, man. That's it right there. Appreciate that closeout. JR, you already closed, man, or you want to say something, man?
Yeah, I'll just say something quickly. Thank you once again for having me on. Great show. Yeah, obviously the truth is the truthful, the reality is the reality, and we just got to choose whether we engage in it or not, but under the right mindset. Let's start feeding the people at the top, and I think just one thing that obviously for the young guys, I think it's just more we do accept the reality of what it is, because we've seen a lot of what's going on out here regarding, female's nature from a man's point of view. But what's not, like I said, we can accept that part. But what's obviously amplifying and making it 10 times worse is, this pseudo power that women have been given, which is then making it 10 times worse in terms of course, the mindset, which then makes it bad in terms of, both men and women getting together. And me, Sir Chloe, said that we are getting together, not with a mindset, but we're engaging together in terms of sex. So, like somebody kept saying that it's the wrong way around, it's wrong and whatnot. So yeah, we know what it is, we know what we've got to do. So until we decide to change, ain't nothing gonna change. But yeah, once again, thank you for having me on. Thank you.
No doubt, man. Appreciate you coming on the panel, man. Now, simple as that, man. Until we make the changes, nothing is going to change. Simple as that. Appreciate that closeout. Joe, it's on you, man. You want to say something before we get out of here?
So, when I think of conditions, I think of men should be more conditional in the way they deal with anyone, whether it's their employees, the opposite sex, their children, because that sets it's like boundaries, it's rules, systems. A man who doesn't have conditions and he's just unconditional in the way he loves his children, then that child wouldn't grow up functional adult, because they were just allowed to run around unconditionally because he just loves the child, do as you will. And I think you can say expectations, but in my mind, I'm thinking it has to be more than just, oh, I expect you, son, to just wash the dishes. And my son says, well, I don't want to wash the dishes. Well, I expected him to. He didn't want to do it. It would be the condition if you want to stay in this house, you go wash these dishes. So maybe that's a little more stern. I'm definitely not God, so I would concede that it makes sense until I go back and reread and study those aspects of what conditions, expectations, promises, and all that. But at least in my human mind, as a man, the conditions that was given for me, there were conditions. There were certain laws, and there are rules in place. So when there are no boundaries or no conditions, then it just allows the other person free reign to disrespect the man, and that's how you get a Tyrese situation crying on camera. Of course, he was just bold enough to do it on camera. There are plenty of men who have gone through that. They thought they were starting a family, it was just all lovey-dovey, but he didn't have any boundaries, any conditions. I just love you. I just love you. Okay, well, let me go ahead and fleece you. So that opens up men and women to being fleeced by the other person, because they don't have any boundaries or any conditions to set up on the other person because they just give them free reign. And so they get hurt when something happens to them, that is so far outside of bounds that, well, what did you expect? They pushed the limits, they went out of bounds, and they didn't have no conditions for them. You didn't have any rules, no boundaries, no nothing. So on one hand, you can say, well, it's a bad thing that women have conditions or expectations. But I say that it's actually kind of smart, and that men should have more conditions and expectations of the in a relationship that they deal with. Because without it, you can you're just you're a plaything to her. If I buy a product, I expect a certain thing. I want, and if it doesn't meet that condition of a quality I want in the particular shoe that I don't want it, I'm going to ask for a refund or I'm going to get fussy with you. So conditions are good. Men have to just get out of that fairy tale mindset and set more conditions, expectations, or whatever else you want to call it, some sort of boundaries, some sort of gate, to protect themselves, but also get that person, okay, this is what this person is. And when that person steps out of bounds, you can check it there. But if you don't have any boundaries and that person is stepping out of everywhere, it's just they don't even know what buttons they can push or not push. And when they go too far, now you want to cry about it. Now you want to get mad about it. But you had no conditions to begin with for them to follow. So I think it's kind of immature to have that men love unconditionally, but women love conditionally. I think women are right about that in the sense that, yeah, they have conditions. If you want me to have your kids, then you should be able to make sure you can take care of me and the kids. If I love you unconditionally and I have kids, guess where we living if I love you unconditionally and I let you just do whatever you want? You living out on the street. We go be in the projects. Vice versa with the man. These are my conditions. This is what I need you to do. This is the order. This is that. So it's foolish to go into a relationship unconditional, no matter what the relationship is, business, romantic, whatever. There has to be some conditions to it. Even when my relationship with God, expectations, conditions, whatever. It feels like, okay, I'm doing this. This is an action thing. Okay, this is what's happening. I'm being blessed as a result of doing X, Y, Z or not doing X, Y, Z. And that's just, I think that's okay. A lot of people, I believe in faith. Faith, just have faith in God and faith. Yeah, but that's not really how that really works in reality. There's a result. Okay, you're doing this. You change who you are as a person, you say, but your actions don't follow. I have conditions or I have expectations and you're not following. Yeah, I love you. Cool, but I can't bless you in that condition. and you not following my rules and my guidelines, it's not going to work. So that's the way I see it. And with that, I will land. I appreciate y'all, and I'm still looking forward. Whether it happens or not, I have an expectation for this meetup to happen.
It's gonna happen, man. It's gonna happen, man. It's gonna happen. I appreciate that closeout, man. Appreciate that closeout. Man, shout out to my panel, man. Shout out to Coco, JR, Joe. Shout out to Vince. Appreciate y'all holding me down on the panel. Shout out to everybody in the comments as well. Fire comments coming in. Shout out, once again, appreciate everybody dropping their comment. YouTube, Facebook in the building, man.
Does that mean I gotta come to the States for the meetup, yeah?
Man, hey, if you want to come on over, man, if you want to go ahead and come across the pond, man, it's
for sure. Bro.
Yeah, man, Mr. Vincent got my ticket here, the rich one. He'll see this when he go. Hopefully he watches it back.
No, I'm gonna let him know you said that too.
All right then.
All right, no doubt. No, shout out to y'all tonight. Let's say we appreciate y'all holding us down. Let's say if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that share, hit that subscribe if you haven't already. Well, man, this is Kandid Konvos, man. We do this show every Wednesday night. We go live on YouTube and Facebook, so like, share, and subscribe, man. We bring the fire conversations, the fire topics, man. And like I said, once again, we run from no conversation. Yeah, if it's a conversation that's going to affect the community and move us in a better direction, we are all for it, and we definitely gonna have it. But man, with that being said, everybody have an awesome night. Man, we gonna catch y'all next Wednesday.